a lot of guys that we don't need to think about when it comes to 2026. There are a few guys that played today that we do need to think about. One of them is Tyler Adams. We got to see his first start of the tournament. He got a yellow card 30 seconds in. What did you think of his performance?
A typical Tyler Adams performance. I think he was a little overeager in the first challenge. That's Tyler Adams.
I think that actually, it was, to me, when you take the aggression out of Tyler Adams, and you do when you get a yellow card in a game, he goes from like a guy who could give you an 8 or a 9 to like a 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So something he's got to watch. He doesn't actually have a bad disciplinary record with the U.S.
No, and he didn't play bad in this game.
He wasn't Tyler Adams.
Correct,
you know?
but it's a position where the less you see out of a player, the better he's actually playing. You know, the better the team's actually playing. I thought Tyler was a typical Tyler Adams performance. You get what you get with him: the leadership, the swinging the ball around, the connecting the passes, albeit not through lines, but organizing. It's one of these performances that you know what you're going to get from him, but it's very difficult to make an assessment on Tyler Adams when you don't have his typical players around him. You don't have the Weston McKennies. You don't have a Yunus Musa. You don't have, Christian Pulisic.
Do you have any doubts that he'll be a big part of the World Cup squad?
No, my only doubt is fitness.
Okay.
That's my only doubt.
But that's, with him it's a big concern, but you'd say that about everybody. If he's fit, you think he's a starter.
There are players in the U.S. men's national team that have injury concerns that I am worried about come 2026. Tyler Adams is one of them. Christian Pulisic is another one. If Giovanni Reina was playing, he'd be another one. Those are 3 players that I'd say their history shows you that there could be fitness issues in important moments. Those are the 3 players I'd be worried about.
I got 3 other guys on my list that I think are pretty important to talk about when it comes to 2026. Brendan Aronson, I think probably both center backs. We've said a lot about Chris Richards throughout the coverage of this tournament. He's been very good, as expected. Tim Ream, maybe not so much. And then Aiman, the striker. Where are we at with this player? Because I know he gets the goal today, but I have to say, honestly, it's kind of like what Casey says with Matt Turner for me. He's just the only guy available right now. You can question why Josh Sargent isn't in this group, but if there was another healthy body, surely it would be somebody else.
Well, there is another healthy body. It's Damian Downs. We've not really seen what he can do. I know he's a Bundesliga 2 player, but he's done well enough at that level to capture the attention of Mauricio Pochettino, and yet you're not giving him a run here. I know he was ill. Do
we need 3 straight games of Aiman?
And Patrick will give you an honest shift, and there's been a lot of rhetoric online that's
you're looking for a starting 9 here, not an honest shift.
But that's been the new whipping boy for a lot of the fan base and a lot of pundits out there, and it's a little unfair because it's a very ungrateful position if you're playing that way with the U.S. men's national team.
That's
where
striker, somebody get out the violin, pobrecito. Huh?
I'm not here to defend Patrick Aiman. I understand what he's going through.
Do you see any way where he's a part of the team in 2026? I just don't see it. I got to be honest.
Well,
some of these guys are going to get healthy.
Let me ask you a question.
I can think of 5 forwards that I think.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Let me ask you one. Is there a realistic scenario where Ricardo Pepi's running all cylinders, Florian Balogun's running all cylinders, Josh Sargent's running all cylinders, and Haji Wright is considered a 9 running all cylinders?
Is that a realistic situation?
Yes.
It's not very likely.
Not very likely. So I think there'd be a scenario where a guy with his skill set, with those intangibles.
Do you see a skill set, or do you see a profile of a skill set?
I don't see a skill set
yet. I think to be at this level, you need a skill set, not a profile.
Think so. I don't think so. Worse players have made World Cup teams and played and been impactful. That's a reality.
But the biggest question still is Mauricio Pochettino comfortable with what he's seeing from Aiman?
I think it's more what Sebi says. He's the warm body right now. He's probably the only one left.
Exactly. So when those names are healthy again, we discussed on Ricardo Pepi the other day. If he's healthy, he's starting. Right. Simple as that. And no injury comes at the right time.
I mean, Balogun and Wright were both called in this group before eventually getting.
Balogun as well. Right. No injury comes at the right time, but for Ricardo Pepi probably came at the worst of times because he was scoring at the club level. He was scoring with the national team with Pochettino. Yeah. So he definitely was going to be the starter. Now, in terms of what kind of profile, what kind of number 9 Pochettino wants for the team, I think that's still up in the air, depending on who's healthy. But I feel my concern is, with the number 9s that are part of this roster, I don't think Pochettino is comfortable at all. So he's still praying and waiting that the other number 9s are healthy again so that he can work again and try to find the best fit for the team.